Hello and welcome to my show Indus Cuisine, and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. We're back with another new episode from the heart of Pakistan. It's a beautiful sunny day, you could say, in Islamabad today, and it is pretty hot. But we are bringing you this show from the outdoors, and today's recipe is very interesting. We're making a recipe which is known as Kabab Handi. Now you might be thinking what this recipe is. Many people or many Pakistanis who live in Britain do know about this recipe, and mostly all of the Pakistanis who live in Pakistan, who are residents over here, have always basically cooked this in their homes, or either they've had it once somewhere outside in a restaurant or in a roadside cafe. Now you need to understand one thing: Pakistan has a very foodie culture. All the people over here love to eat out, and apart from that, we have a lot of roadside eateries which are basically catering to people with only 2-3 dishes, but those 2-3 dishes are literally delicious and to die for. Okay, so today's recipe is Kabab Handi. What does this mean? Kabab means basically meatballs, but when I say meatballs, meatballs in English are round. Kebabs are usually towards the flatter side. They're more like patties. So kebab means like a beef or a chicken or a mutton minced patty, and handi basically means a wok. Back in the day, the wok that was used was made out of clay, but we'll be using the normal wok. And how will this recipe be made? I'll let you know. But apart from that, this recipe has 2 parts, which I shall let you know slowly and gradually. But one needs to know that the culture of kebabs started from the Turkish people, and as we know that the Mughal Empire had a lot of influence in our region. Why? Because they were the Rajas and Maharajas back in the day. They used to exchange their culture, their traditions with all the other empires from Iran, from Turkey, from all these neighboring countries, and these countries were more meat oriented, and everyone knows that the Mughals were also meat oriented. So such recipes came into being, and this was one of those recipes which was easily cooked in every household. Why? Because it was not that expensive. The reason behind that is back in the day when it was cooked, it was made with meat which came from the cow or buffalo, and the rich used to have mutton. But nowadays, if you see that burgers are usually made with beef, but when you think about the 17th or the 18th century, things were very different back then. Okay, now we shall start this recipe. We shall make the kebabs. Kebabs means a beef or a chicken patty. What are the ingredients for today's recipe? I will give you a quick rundown, and the rundown includes some fresh coriander. You need some lemon juice. You need tomatoes, green chilies. You need half a kilogram of chicken mince. We'll be doing it with chicken mince. Why? Because this is made usually with chicken mince in current day Pakistan. Then you will be needing some oil, ginger, garlic, some peanuts. If you have peanut allergy, you can use cashews. If you do have a cashew allergy, you can use almond. And if you have an allergy with every form of dry fruit, you can just let it be and not use it at all. Apart from that, you need some black cardamom, you need cinnamon sticks, you need some garam masala, you need some cumin seeds, coriander powder, red chili powder, turmeric powder, salt to taste, and in the end you need desiccated coconut. Now what I'll do first is I shall prepare the meat for this recipe. Now what are the ingredients that will go in this recipe are very simple. What I'll do is first I shall pick up a fresh bowl. The bowl is over here. I'll pick the bowl up and I shall keep it over here, and once it's over here, which it is, I shall add the mince. So I am using the chicken mince. Remember, this recipe is made with chicken mince, but if you want to make it with mutton or beef, you can do that also. But remember, the cooking time of the recipe will automatically increase. Now what I'll do is I'll keep this on the side and I shall just start mixing it. But before that, I need to add some things. So we need some salt. I shall add around half a teaspoon of salt. Then we shall add around a teaspoon of desiccated coconut. This will give the chicken a very nice, luxurious flavor. Coconut goes in. Then we shall add a little bit of red chili powder. We need a little bit of garam masala, let's say just a pinch, not a lot of it. We need around half a teaspoon of coriander powder. and then we need to start mixing all of this. But when you're mixing it, what I shall do is I shall just take the cling off from the oil. I shall dip my hands in the oil, rub it up. Why? Because remember one thing, that chicken mince is very sticky as compared to any other mince. So now when I put oil on my hands, what will happen eventually is that the mince will not stick to my hands, and easily I shall mix it. Now remember, if you will add any other form of a binding agent, such as you could say some flour, some eggs, the chicken will get even more runny. So what I prefer is that keep a bowl of oil next to you, and whenever you feel that the mince is basically sticking, add a little bit of oil and start just mixing it even more. Slowly and gradually will take you a long way. Trust me on my words, and you shall see a change in your beef mince, chicken mince. When it basically cooks, it will not fall apart. I'm just dipping the back end of my hand, and I am just pressing it down, and you can see the texture is coming very nicely together. You have to keep doing this for at least 5 minutes so that the mince gets nice and sticky and it comes together. So till the time I'm just mixing this, because I have to be true to what I do, you can just look here and there, and then I shall let you know what to do next. So as you can see, the mince is almost ready. I am just going to flip it around once, and it is done. Now I shall just press it like this, and put it on the red chopping board. Okay, now when this is done, what I'll do is I'll pick up the oil again. This oil shall not be used otherwise. I shall just use it for dipping. Now I shall just apply oil on all my fingers, and I shall just slowly and gradually take the mince and keep pressing it. Why? Because you need to press it, beat it like this, so that it does not fall apart. Remember that. I've just made a small circular ball. I'll keep it over here. Now you might be thinking that he is talking about patties, which are also known as kebabs in the Urdu language. Why is he making the meat like this? Now I shall let you know why, because there will be a very distinct way I shall be putting this over here. Now you can see this big plate of steel. This is basically the traditional tawa. Tawa means a pan which is made out of normal steel, which is tempered. It is always washed with, you could say, heavy equipment to clean it out, and then it is used. As you can see, there is tempering done over it. You can see the tempering signs. That is very important. This also gives a very good taste to your food. As they say, back in the day when people used to use copper utensils and copper pans and pots for cooking, the flavor was much better. You can see some royal houses around the world and even in Pakistan which still have cutlery made out of 18 karat gold or with silver, and they have pots in which they cook which are made out of pure copper. So as you can see, I've made these meatballs. Now what do we have to do? What I'll do first is I've added some oil over here for frying. I will just spread it out. If you do not have this, it's fine. You can do it in a normal frying pan, but it's my job to show you how it is still done when you go for street food in Pakistan. What I'm just doing is I'm just applying some oil on the edges. Why? Because I cannot put my hand over there. So what I'll do is, first, remember you need some cold water. You will just dip your hands in it. You will pick up the meatball, place it here on the edge, dip your hand once again, press it like this, slowly and gradually, not too much, and then just push it in like this, and then press it again. This is how you will do it. I will do this for every kebab. I will keep it over here, and I will just press it, and I shall push it in. Now because the oil is over there, I shall not push it in too much. Why? Because I need to add a lot of the kebab. So I'm just placing it towards the edge of the pan, as you can see, and I am just pressing it down. Slowly and gradually, just keep pressing it, and just be careful. You do not want to put your hand in the oil. This is a traditional way it's done. If you do not want to do it this way, you can just make the patties and do it too. But this way, the patty gets a proper hole. I'm just pushing it down slowly and gradually, and that is about it. and this is done. Now what I'll do is I shall just take a wooden spatula. I shall just slowly and gradually move it. Be very careful because you don't have any form of egg in it. I'm being very, very, very extra careful when I'm pushing it in. Once you just move it, then it will not stick at all. So as you can see, it's completely fine. I put one in the center, and now I shall use the last one and I shall place it over here. It goes here. Just press it like this, slowly. Take the spatula and very slowly place it in the oil. Now this is done. What I'll do is I shall fry the kebabs for, let's say, around only 3 minutes on each side. The heat does not need to be very high, so I shall just put it to medium. Why? Because when you do it extra high, the heat starts dispersing and the kebabs just get cooked from the outside and they are raw from the inside. I shall just clean up a bit and I shall tell you how we shall add some flavor to this kebab while it is frying. As you can see, the kebabs are over there, but we need to add a little bit of flavor. What I'll do first is I shall just sprinkle just a pinch of salt on each kebab individually. This will help in the kebab to sweat properly. When this is done, what I'll do is I shall pick up 2 cloves of garlic, pick up my paring knife, cut it into half, and then smash each of it just a bit. Not too much, just break it lightly. And this is done. Now pick the pieces and place it around the center so that it releases its oil. Apart from that, what I'll do is I'll pick up some ginger. I shall make super thin slices like this. And then place the ginger around in the oil so that I get a nice flavor of the ginger also. Now when this is frying, what we'll do is we shall go for a short break, and once we're back from the break, I'll let you know what to do next. Don't go anywhere, keep watching Indus Cuisine. Welcome back. You're watching Indus Cuisine and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. During the break, I just waited for you and I flipped the kebabs. As you can see, they're nice and golden brown. You might be thinking they're so crispy on the outside, but you may have to remember one thing, that these kebabs will go in a nice, delicious, aromatic gravy. Now, what do we have to do? Now these kebabs are done, I will just dish them out. So what I'll do is I shall pick up a plate and I shall place it over here. We shall just take the kebabs out slowly and place them over here. And then you can see how nicely cooked they are. They look like patties, but these kebabs will now be used in the handi we shall make. So slowly and gradually will take you a long way, remember that. And now what I'll do is I shall put the stove off over here, but I shall keep the oil. Why? Because I need to use this oil for the recipe. The oil for this recipe will be used from this. Why? Because you can see this oil has all the flavor that has seeped out of the chicken patties or the chicken kebabs over here. The kebabs are nice and golden, but it doesn't end here. Now we need to make the curry. You need to remember one thing, that the curry also requires some oil. Now I'm saying curry, why? Because a Malai handi means something which has sauce in it. So the oil that we shall be using will be the same one in which we fry the chicken. Now there's a reason, there's a science behind it. Why? Remember, whenever we cook chicken, it loses its fat and its juices. That flavor is all over here, and this is all the juice and the flavor that we shall be using next in the recipe. For that, I shall need a wok. I shall bring a wok and I shall place it over here. The wok goes here, it comes on heat. We shall put around, you could say, half a cup of oil. So I shall transfer the oil over here from this, but you will not add the ginger and garlic I added over here. This oil has all the flavor. You can see that there's some brown sticking down. That's called also in French, but I shall not be using that for this recipe. I just require the oil. This is done. The stove over here is completely off. I shall place this over here. Now, we need to basically make a curry out of it. We'll be using around 4 to 5 tomatoes. For that, what I'll do is I shall pick up the tomatoes and bring them over here. I mean, I like juggling them around. Why? Because they reach the destination quickly. Okay, this is done. What I'll do is I shall just take the eye of the tomato out like this. Slowly and gradually. Takes you a long way. Cut it and place them like this. Now you might be thinking, what do we need to do next? We need to make a nice delicious gravy out of these tomatoes, and then we shall add it. It's basically a red handi. You could also say, if we go to the street food vendors, we tell them either we want a white handi or a red handi. Red means made of tomato, white means made out of yogurt and a lot of cream. So what I'll do is I shall just cut the tomatoes into two. You can see they're juicy, they're fresh, they're ripe. And now I shall just bring this, place it over here, and transfer all of these into this. We shall convert all the tomatoes into a nice fine paste, and then we shall use it in the curry. Do not add any water. If you have a good blender, they will process properly and nicely. Remember that. As you can see, within seconds, the paste is done. It's ready. I'll keep the jug over here. And now we shall start with the recipe, as we shall put all the other ingredients. Now, the oil has come to heat. What I'll do now is I shall just pick up some garlic. We need around 5 pieces of garlic in this recipe. This recipe does require garlic, remember that. I shall just pick up the paring knife, transfer all the juice on the side, and slowly and gradually just press them like this. You have to press them before chopping them, remember that. Slowly and gradually will take you a long way. Bring them super close and start just passing your knife slowly through it. You can see it's getting nicely chopped. This shall go in the oil, and I shall fry the garlic for, let's say, around 30 to 45 seconds on high heat. So increase the heat to full. When it's on full, we shall now start cooking it. On the other hand, I need 2 big green chilies. Now, the bigger the green chili, the less spicy it is, remember that. What I'll do is I shall just take the tip off of this one, because this is how it's used. This one, the smaller ones are just, the stems are going to go to the dustbin or to the waste. Okay, the garlic is frying properly. What I'll do is I shall just make 4 pieces of this green chili. It's a nice green chili which is pretty fresh. I've just bought it off the market before coming for the show. That's what I do. I like cooking with fresh ingredients. I shall tilt it now, and I shall deep fry the green chilies so that it gets a nice flavor, and the oil also has a nice flavor of the aroma of the skin of the chili. Okay, now this is done. What I'll do is I shall reduce the heat just a little bit and start adding some spices. Whatever is used goes at the back. Now I need some ginger. The ginger goes over here. I shall just cut them in slices, not too thin, remember that, for this recipe. And I need at least a tablespoon worth of this. Reduce the heat, as you can see, let it cook so that the green chili loses its moisture. I shall just place it over here, and slowly and gradually I shall just push the knife forward and make it into thin slices. Remember this, for this recipe you need the ginger to be cut in this way so that you get the perfect shape and the perfect flavor possible. I shall pick this up, transfer it in the oil, tilt it. As you can see, the garlic is nice and brown. Keep frying it. You need the garlic to be brown for this recipe. Now we shall start adding a few things. You need to add 2 pieces of black cardamom, 1, 2. You need some garam masala and some cumin seeds. The cumin seeds go in the oil so that when I cook them, the flavor comes in. I shall tilt it now, and I shall fry the cumin seeds for this recipe. This is done, not for too long, just for 30 seconds, and it's been 30 seconds now. What I'll do is I shall just pick up all the tomatoes, shake it around, and transfer it over here. This goes in. I should keep this at the back. I will not keep it in the sink. Why? Because then the sink will basically be a hazardous area where this can break. Remember that. I always cook in a way I will always cook at home also. Okay, now start mixing this on high heat. You need the flavor to be super nice. Keep mixing it, and now we shall add some salt. As you know that we haven't added any salt, so if we add the salt, there will be a nice flavor to it. So I will add around half a teaspoon of salt, not too much. The half teaspoon goes in. We don't need any more salt, it goes at the back. Then we shall basically add a few peanuts. The peanuts go in the recipe. They will be cooked inside the recipe for this nice flavor that they will release. We need some turmeric powder. And now we shall let all these spices cook. Slowly and gradually mix it around. This is done. And now we shall add a little bit of cinnamon. Let's say 2 sticks. A little bit of red chili powder. Whatever is used, pick it up and keep it at the back. Do not create clutter in the center. Around a tablespoon of desiccated coconut and some coriander powder. All of this goes in. Now I shall mix it again. And reduce the heat to bare minimum. What I'll do now is I shall add just half a cup of water so that tomatoes get a nice chance to fry even properly and even in a more thicker way possible. Mix it around, and as you can see, the texture is perfect. Keep it over here, place the lid on top and let it cook. So we should cook this for at least 5 minutes so that the water we've added evaporates on low heat but with the lid on. So till that is cooking, we'll just clean up and then I shall let you know what to do next. Don't go anywhere, keep watching Indus Cuisine. As you can see that the reduction is done, but now what do I need to do? I need to add these kebabs back into the gravy. So slowly and gradually push them inside so that they get nicely coated, and we shall cook this on very low heat for at least 5 more minutes. You need to see that the coating consistency needs to be proper. So there is still water, it's still watery, the coating consistency is not there. So what I'll do is I shall just place this, mix it up just once by just shaking it, and place the lid on top, and then just squeeze a little bit of lemon from the top. But for that I shall just pick up the lemon, keep it over here, slice it, and then just add a tablespoon of it into the sauce over here. This is done. We've added the lemon, the remaining goes in the bin. Shake it up and place a lid on top. Now we should let it cook for at least 5 minutes on low heat. Until the time this is cooking, we'll clean up and then show you the final look of the recipe. Don't go anywhere, keep watching Indus Cuisine. So as you can see, today's recipe is ready. It was delicious. I've just taken out a serving for a single person. I've cooked for 4 people. A handi is basically served in the handi itself on the table in a restaurant if it's made out of clay. But I've put a single serving out. This could be done if the restaurant was in the West. I hope you liked today's episode. I'll see you in another episode of Indus Cuisine. Take care of yourself, lovely people. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.